Welcome to this edition of the Durham Speaker Series. I'm delighted to welcome you here to the London Chamber of Commerce for the ongoing series that we have at Durham University Business School, which is to share our research. The secret of the successful workforce we'll be presenting and suggesting to you tonight is how people trust each other inside and outside organisations. But what I'm here to argue is that there is a way in which we can do this that is built on the science and the art of trust building.
So there's this gap, ladies and gentlemen. It's this problem of the gap that I want to address. Because my argument to you is that if, as people managers, if, as HR people, we were much better informed about what the research tells us makes a difference, and we were to use that research in practice to influence our decisions as people managers, influence our investments as people managers, then our organisations would be more competitive, our organisations would be more successful, and we'd clean up and see off the opposition.
So back a few years ago, before the global financial crisis, when bankers weren't embarrassed at dinner parties, taxi drivers were happier, but not quite as far back as when Arsenal won their last silverware, Graham, I'm sorry. So I thought it'd be kind of interesting to find out from doing research rather than just observing how HR impacted those organisations. Influence is therefore fragile and transient because you're talking about relationships, and if one person from the relationship leaves, someone has to build trust and credibility all over again.
You invest a lot of time as an HR director facing into a chief executive. If that chief executive suddenly goes, you have to start again. Do not underestimate how unbelievably demotivating it is to say, oh my God, I've got to do this yet again. Because that relationship of your CHRO and your CEO is so important, and if the CEO changes, you have to start again.
I'm going to be arguing that one of the ways in which we can use trust is we can reflect upon our own working relationships and start to diagnose them using the theory and the evidence, the research evidence about how trust is built and how trust is maintained. If we trust people more, we share more information and we collaborate with them. If we don't trust people, we're reluctant to share information. We take more and we take appropriate risk, which is vital for the creativity and the innovation of the British economy.
The government will regularly invest 20, 40, 50 million through the Red Cross movement of DFID money because they trust the way that we deliver the programme, and we trust in everybody that works for the movement to be completely neutral and impartial in everything that they do. The challenge for me now is to understand, with increasing major disasters impacting on urban communities, whether I can replicate positioning an operation in an effective community or not.
This whole event this evening is about thought leadership. It's about getting people to challenge the status quo. It's about thinking in a different way. When we set up Crucial Connexions, which was just about a year ago, we sort of all agreed that effectively what our reason for being is that we want to fundamentally challenge the way people think about the impact of people management. We're committing to do this in a spirit of learning, in a spirit of engagement. We want to share the learning because we are passionate about what we do, and it matters.
I found this evening really interesting because actually I often go to these events with a number of other HR professionals, but it was really good this evening to hear about it being spoken about from an academic context.
There's a lot for me to take away from what's been said.
We've had a really good evening this evening. Got a lot of different insights, and what's really clear more than anything else is the consistency of people's views, that people count and that people management, whether that's driven by the HR, even the business directors, has an impact on the bottom line. It's not always understood.